What would happen if you combined the design of the iPhone 17 Pro, the glowing pixels from the Nothing phone and a Tamagotchi from our childhood, and then sold it for 3 times less? Meet the INFINIX Note 60 Pro. Right now, the INFINIX brand is trying to break out of the budget segment and prove to everyone that they can make premium devices. But let's be honest, when marketers cram so many cool features into a mid-range smartphone, there's definitely a catch somewhere. Today, we're going to break down this device without any advertising fluff. I'll tell you where Infinix really worked a miracle and where they blatantly cut corners at your expense and made you overlook the specs. The smartphone was announced relatively recently, on February 18th, 2026, and it went on sale in March. At launch in India, it was priced at around 32,000 rupees, which translates to roughly 350 euros on the European market. And you know what? The phone is now wildly popular in India, Southeast Asian countries, and Eastern Europe. Why? Because for 350 euros, people see, first of all, flagship level specs, and secondly, a design just like the iPhone 17 Pro. And that's why they rush to the stores. Well, let's take a look at what awaits us inside. And let's start our review with the box. The box is a solid silver color with a large Note 60 Pro inscription. Here we can also notice the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 5G performance platform. We can also see, in my case, it's in the top left corner, 256 GB of storage and 24 GB of RAM. As for the sound, this phone features sound by Gmail and actually JBL. And on the back side, we can once again see the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 and a lot of interesting information. And inside this box, there's so much stuff that I was surprised because I haven't seen anything like it before. Let's open our box. And oh, here it is. Of course, there's some understandable junk. The first thing I haven't noticed in a long time is, let me find it now. This is either a film or a glass for this device. A bunch of papers, a lot of different papers, I don't know, all sorts of documentation. There's also, as you can see, a SIM ejector pin for the tray, a USB-C to USB-A cable. There's also a charging block included, but I don't have it, and I'll bring it now. And this is a transparent case, a regular case with a magnetic ring. And what surprised me, look, these are headphones. Well, of course, they're just the regular ones, but they use USB-C. That's very popular nowadays. It's honestly shocking to me because the last device I recorded, the one I reviewed, didn't have any headphones at all. And that's a nice bonus. But let's move on to the appearance. And the appearance is its main trump card. The first thing you notice is the partial resemblance to the hyped iPhone 17 Pro. Actually, it's not even a partial resemblance. And for me, well, I don't know, I don't like it. The camera is the same. Later, I'll do a comparison shot with the iPhone 17 Pro. It's the same camera, only on the 17 Pro it's more square. Here, it's a bit trimmed down. When you watch the comparison shot, you'll notice the same two cameras. Yeah, on the 17 Pro, the camera is here, and there's a small camera on top. Well, I don't know. It's strange to me. Also, what's strange to me, and we'll talk more about it, is this button, which you can, I don't know, use to turn the sound on or off. Unmuted, muted. Also, this button, or rather not a button, but a function, which is available on the iPhone starting, I think, from the 15 Pro Max, or maybe the 16 Pro Max. A button that you can use to launch the camera or set up for something else. Well, here it's a button that's responsible for measuring blood oxygen level or pulse. We'll talk a bit more about this function a little later. Now let's talk some more about the design of this device. And yes, as we mentioned, the iPhone 17 borrowed, or you could even say somewhat stole, the outstanding camera module. It has a unibody flat aluminum frame and trendy color options. But you could say that it's not a blind copy-paste. The matte back shimmers beautifully in the light, as you can notice, creating a sense of depth. It looks gorgeous, but the frame around the cameras is glossy. It instantly collects dust and all fingerprints. So I left fingerprints and I don't know. Yeah, you'll notice it a little bit. So you'll need to carry a cloth with you to keep it looking nice. As for body protection, it's modest here, IP64. It protects against rain splashes, but you can't submerge it in a pool and you shouldn't even try. One nice feature on the body is a programmable one-time button that has appeared on the white edge. Now you'll see what you can do with it. You can assign it to activate silent mode, turn on the flashlight, or launch something. But you can do the same thing, I don't know, on an iPhone too. But on the right side, under the power button, they've hidden a real pulse oximeter. You press your finger on it for half a minute in the My Health app. Let's try it now. Now I'm selecting heart rate here. Measure with phone. Start measuring. Well, as you can see, I pressed it and now it's, you have to wait 30 seconds. Let's wait. We tap agree and now the values will appear. You can tap finish or you can check it again. And here on the graph, it will record when and at what time you took the measurement. You can also set up blood oxygen, stress, and various other functions here. Also, if you have any smartwatches, the data will sync and everything will work the same way. I think this is a useful feature. But the main thing, sorry for the expression, it's both gypsy-like and magical at the same time, is the active matrix display. As you can see on the back panel next to the cameras, there's a monochrome pixel display, just like, let me turn it on again, just like on the Nothing phone. It's a monochrome pixel display. It shows the time, battery level, notification animations, and you can even have a pixel pet there, which is exactly what I did. Moreover, you can play 2 mini games on it using the side buttons or the gyroscope. There's also a flashing RGB LED nearby. It's pretty cool. For the first 3 days, it's cool for the first 3 days. The wow effect for your friends is guaranteed. But after that, you'll most likely forget about this feature, just like the glyphs on the Nothing phone. Well, let's get back to our phone, and here we're greeted by the main display. 6.78 inches, an AMOLED with 1.5K resolution, and a refresh rate of as much as 144 Hz. The bezels are thin and completely symmetrical, with no ugly chin. The screen is very bright, up to 4500 nits at peak. Everything is perfectly visible in sunlight, but keep in mind, the 144 Hz here is not dynamic. The phone simply switches between fixed modes, and in many apps like Telegram or Genshin Impact, you'll still be capped at 120 Hz. But the picture is still incredibly smooth. But the heart of the smartphone, as you may have already noticed and as I mentioned, is the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4. This is a mid-range chip from the middle of 2025. RAM ranges from 8 to 12 gigabytes. But they did cut costs on the built-in storage. It uses the old and not the fastest UFS 2.2 standard. In Antutu, the device scores about 960,000 points. But numbers are just numbers. But what about games? We have the aluminum frame and the large vapor chamber to thank for that. The phone barely heats up at all. In the throttling test, performance dropped by only 9% over half an hour. The processor stayed cool. For example, PUBG Mobile runs on high settings, no frame drops at all. A stable frame rate. Genshin Impact runs on high graphics settings. You can play comfortably, there are almost no freezes, and the body doesn't burn your hands. The maximum temperature on the chip is about 50 degrees. But because of the UFS 2.2 memory, level loading could be faster. Overall, for gaming at this price, I like it. In the INFINIX Note 60 Pro, they managed to fit a 6500 mAh battery while keeping the body just 7.4 millimeters thick. And it lasts an impressively long time. With heavy use, like gaming, messaging, and YouTube, I still had 65% battery left by the evening. That's a solid 2 days of battery life in normal use. The 90-watt charger brings this tank up to 100% in about an hour. There's support for 30-watt wireless charging, and even aggressive wired and wireless charging to top up your headphones. And for gamers, they've added a bus charging feature, bypass charging. You plug in the cable and the current goes straight to the processor, bypassing the battery. The phone doesn't heat up and the battery doesn't wear out. That's a huge plus. It says on the camera module, let me read it, ultra clear 50 megapixels OIS AI camera. The main module is 50 megapixels with optical stabilization, and there's an ultra-wide at 8 megapixels. There's no telephoto lens, so the zoom from 0.6 times to 15 times is purely digital. There are tons of settings in the software. Focal lengths for portraits, 24mm, 35mm, 50mm. Modes, street, snap, super night. For vlogging at night. Photos during the day are vibrant and detailed, but at night don't expect miracles. Stabilization helps prevent blur, but detail decreases. When it comes to video, the box says nice things, but let's look at the actual hardware specs. The smartphone can record 4K video at 30 frames per second on the main camera and on the 13 megapixel front camera. Stabilization works in AI steady and ultra steady modes. But if you want smooth 60 frames per second, you'll have to drop down to 1080. It's fine for casual stories, but the device doesn't quite qualify as a full-fledged video blogging tool. But let's take a look at the INFINIX AI settings. There's really a lot of artificial intelligence here. The XOS 16 system based on Android 16 is literally packed with all sorts of interesting features. Here you have the Folix voice assistant, the Folix Smart Touch feature for recognizing content on the screen and understanding text. There's also Translation Assistant for real-time conversation translation. For working with text, they've added Document Assistant. It summarizes entire documents. There's also AI writing. It corrects mistakes and rewrites text. And Recording Summary for transcribing voice recordings. For creativity, there's the Love AI Theme Generator and the Circle to Search feature. Just circle something to search for it. It's a solid package. Most of the features are genuinely useful for work. Let's put everything together and be honest. Is it worth buying? And let's start with the downsides of this smartphone. The first is weak water resistance. IP64 only protects against splashes. Second, it has slow built-in storage of the old UFS 2.2 standard and no slot for memory cards. There's no support for 4K at 60 FPS, only 4K at 30 FPS. The rear active matrix display is most likely just a toy for a week rather than something truly useful. But if we talk about the advantages, there's the gorgeous premium design with an aluminum frame and a symmetrical 144Hz AMOLED display. No matter how much I say that it looks exactly like the iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max, its design really is beautiful. There's also a huge 6500 mAh battery with a bunch of charging modes, for example 90-watt wireless and bypass charging. The Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 processor comes with excellent cooling. The phone doesn't throttle at all in games. It has a built-in heart rate and SpO2 sensor. I don't know who actually needs this feature, but it's interesting. And also a bunch of useful AI features. So who is this device for? The INFINIX Note 60 Pro is the perfect choice for those who want to get the most hyped features, a cool design, and phenomenal battery life for a reasonable €350, but who don't really care about mobile video recording in 4K at 30 FPS. For gaming, everyday tasks, and that wow effect, it's an excellent option. And what do you think? Is this active matrix of yours just a toy, or is it actually a useful feature? Write in the comments and leave a like. And bye bye.